Ma, talking about Ingubo, of course, let's just listen in to Amabutho. We saw Inyosi as well a little earlier on. Let's listen in and then we'll bring my colleague, Jade Paulser, who is also on standby.
Yina bakamsimude livela ngesihluka phakathi amangisi namaqadase inkonjane kandaba ethu besulwini esinkonjana sayijukele emafini ekhunakala mfamakhosi umdayisabela uyobisa kweliphesheya izalwazi zosala emanxiweni amaqhegona yosala emzileni
fanele ucela izulu unkosi nkulu umnqabeli wabantu
as you see there these live visuals of the maidens as they are making their way to where they're going to be presenting their reeds. And earlier on we saw izinyosi. You look at the fact that there was inyosi yesilo, the late King KwaZulu-Natal KaZwelithini Ubaba uMdleje, inyosi uMdleje there, as we were seeing izinyosi, and the significance of this thereof is something we're going to be touching on with Dr. Mazibuko. But I'd like to bring in Jade, if she is still with us. Jade, if you are able to hear us, I mean, we're seeing the maidens, also some of them you were talking to a little earlier on. Talk to us about what you can see from your vantage point.
I'm standing right in front of Amabutho. But if we look at the history of the reed dance, Bongi, it's really steeped in our history. It's steeped in our history and the rise of the Zulu kingdom. Thousands of people, even tourists alike, travel to KwaZulu-Natal to witness this ceremony. And it really started with the great King Shaka. This reed dance festival has been celebrated by so many generations over the years, and it really started in 1984 and has been revived by the late Queen Regent, Queen Mantombi, who said that no, the young girls need to be able to attend the reed dance, and she was the one that was instrumental in this. So according to Zulu tradition, only virgins are permitted to take part in this festival to ensure that they are ritually pure. And most of these young girls that we are witnessing on our screens, they undergo virginity testing before coming to the reed dance. And after the inspection, the girls are given certificates or marked with clay spots on their faces to recognize their status. Bongi, I'm just going to let the nat sound play and listen to Amabutho. So Bongi, in recent times, the king used the reed dance festival as an opportunity to educate the Zulu nation, and in particularly the youth, focusing on vital societal issues such as practicing sexual morals and behaviors. And really, by paying tribute to the king in this way, the Zulu nation, represented by the young women carrying those reeds that we are seeing on our screens, they really bestow on the king the symbolic power to rule over the Zulu kingdom and its royal subjects in the year to come.
And Amabutho, essentially known as Ingubo Yesilo, you can almost get a sense of what they're doing here, Bentlalela. Just that moment. This is so powerful. And as we were talking to Dr. Mazibuko, who will go back to just talk about the significance of this moment. But let's listen in first before we even continue with some of what we are seeing here.
So Bongi, to demonstrate his gratitude, once the king comes here, later on he will respond with a sacrifice to the royal ancestors on behalf of all the young women and their communities throughout the kingdom. And usually an animal is offered, usually a cow, so that will happen as well. But where we are right now, the maidens are making their way to Enyokeni Royal Palace. They will then be led by the first maiden, who will then present her reed to His Majesty King MisuZulu KaZwelithini, and then thereafter the maidens will come in groups and perform a song and dance for the king and make their way back to the grounds where he will deliver his address to his subjects.
And Jade, one of the things that we were also talking about earlier on is just how excited the maidens are to be part of this ceremony, not only over the fact that it's been a 2-year hiatus, they haven't been able to do it, but just how for them it's a sense of pride to say that they are preserving their virginity. And you can see there, I think, if I am able to see correctly, that is Police Minister Bheki Cele. And of course, it also talks to the security in this particular palace, as has been, one of the concerns over time. You think of statements that were also released in the lead up to this particular event. So listening to a conversation that Bongani Gema would have heard, had earlier on during the morning live with Umtwana Uthulani Zulu, talking about how it's important that the law enforcement authorities make sure that this event is safe, and even the statement from the provincial government talking about how nothing will go wrong and everyone who takes part in this event will be preserved, they'll be safe, and saying that they're satisfied that it's all systems go. And Jade, that's been the picture that we've seen in the lead up to this particular event, different statements being bandied about, and the KwaZulu-Natal government as well coming out to also dispel some of what we've been seeing in the public domain.
That's very true, Bongi. I think there was a lot of concern about whether the Reed dance this year would take place at Enyokeni Royal Palace. There were talks about it moving to Kwakangela. And this was all dispelled yesterday with government releasing their statement saying that no, it will go ahead. It is being supported. It is supported by government, and there will be, MECs in attendance. There will be government officials in attendance, and there's no such that it will be moved. And that stems from the simmering tensions that are, playing out in the Royal Palace. And we've been covering this blow by blow. Bongani Gema has been on the ground speaking to Prince Thulani, who has also said that they will definitely have it this year at Enyokeni Royal Palace. It's been held here for so many years, Bongi. So to really move this ceremony to any other palace would really just be a disgrace, not number one, but also a slap in the face of His Majesty King MisuZulu KaZwelithini. So they really just said that it will go ahead, and there were concerns last night. There were concerns that there could possibly be disruptions of any nature this morning, but I can tell you that there is a heavy contingent of police. They've been out in their numbers since early hours of this morning. The visuals that you are seeing on your screen right now is the first group of maidens arriving at the Royal Palace with their reeds. You can see see that group making their way inside, and they will be led by one of the first maidens. She is always from the royal family. It's always been like that throughout the years. One of the royal maidens will be leading. She will give her read over to His Majesty, and thereafter several of the other groups of maidens, they will come through. They will also put down their reed in front of His Majesty, perform a dance, and then head on down to the grounds. Now, we're not yet sure what time that is expected to start. I do see them at the gate, so they possibly will be making their way up to where they will be placing their reeds on the ground. But stay with these visuals and we will take you through this beautiful ceremony.